What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here for a Christmas Eve edition of the weekly sports card market update. If Christmas is your thing, I wish you and yours a merry one. I have a ton of stuff I need to get done today. Some family stuff tonight, obviously family stuff tomorrow, and then I am off the entire week. Maybe we'll go do some live streams, we'll see. But I am off this entire week from work upcoming. I do not go back until like January 2nd or 3rd. The wife and I have no significant plans. We usually watch all 3 Lord of the Rings movies in the same day. It's really busy times here around the old household. This will be a staycation, relax, get caught up on some content, be good times. It's nice and relaxing. Hope everyone has an amazing Christmas. Everyone gets what they want, whether it's hobby related or not. Let's go ahead and dive in. Remember last week, I started the video off, I believe, by saying something like, oh, it's been kind of quiet. Oops. Shortly after that is when everything went sideways. Bowman Draft, the backdoored cards nonsense happened at the beginning part of the week. And then the later half of the week, the CGC nonsense went down. I'll touch on that very briefly here in a couple minutes, but 1 week ago, I said things were quiet. 1 week later, it has been one of the more chaotic weeks that we have seen in the collectible space, crossing from cards into the comic book world as well. So we'll see what this next week brings as we kind of end out the year here. Just kind of give you all a little peek forward. I haven't planned out any individual videos for this upcoming week, but we'll do some look backs on the year this last week of 2023. And then probably the week after, we'll do some prediction stuff, look ahead stuff. I'm sure Gem Rate will do a nice year-end breakdown that we'll look at. We'll talk a little Gem Rate here in a minute. But that's just kind of a loosey-goosey plan for this upcoming week. There's potential on Thursday evening. I may get together with Swaggle House and some others for a multi-channel live stream. The focus of that will probably be comics, probably talk about the CGC nonsense and just kind of hang out. But we'll see what happens there. Nothing firm yet, but talks are happening in the background on that. Before we get too deep in, this video is sponsored by our good old friends over at ComC, channel partner, sponsoring the weekly sports card market updates and a few other things here and there. I did that video the other day, which was executing on, like I've talked about all the time, what I like to use ComC for. Send off cards I don't feel like dealing with, sell them on the platform, and buy cards that I want. I want to turn piles of random cards into a couple of key cards. And I am perfectly fine waiting. I am very patient. It works out great for me. Might not work out great for everybody, but it works great for me. I would highly recommend giving them a shot. At least at minimum, it's worth it just for buying stuff. You know, I find good deals over there all the time. And if you find stuff on eBay with the ComC listing, go make an account on ComC because you could get it for cheaper by purchasing it on platform because you get a discount by buying directly on ComC instead of buying through ComC on eBay. So always keep that in mind. Even if you don't want to send ComC a single card, you could still go over there and save some money on your purchases. Let's get into some of the individual newsy bites. Like we talked about at the beginning, Bowman Draft, duplicate 101s, backdoored cards, Fanatics responses, the whole 9 yards. At least Fanatics came out and said something. I have a feeling, in all honesty, we probably won't hear anything else, maybe ever, or if not for a while. Because at this point, it's honestly probably going to turn into a criminal investigation. And it's not like we're going to get random updates from Fanatics on that until it finishes. I'm sure some other things will probably come out here and there, but my guess is that we don't hear anything formal for quite a while. Bowman Draft continues to be the big chase right now. Everyone's going absolutely crazy for it. Box prices have remained perfectly steady post-release. We have super jumbos at still over $750 and regular jumbo hobby boxes sitting around that $500 to $530 mark. So on the secondary market, everything seems to be just fine. No one seems to care. Break spots are still selling out. We'll talk about some of the Tom Brady stuff here in a minute, but still wild times for Bowman Draft. Speaking of upcoming releases, as of time of recording on Saturday evening, Prism Blasters are still live on Target's website. 2023 Prism Blasters went up on Friday morning, I believe, is when I got some DMs about this. It is limit 3, but it has now been multiple days and they have not sold out. $30 a pop. That's the going rate for blasters these days. First off the line, Prism Football went up this week. I believe from what I've saw, it sold out in the high 800 range. Someone could confirm or deny that in the comments down below, but it looked like it went out at maybe like 875. A couple people might have checked out at, or somewhere in that neighborhood, give or take 20 bucks. That's slightly above what Hobby's pre-selling for. That seems to be the norm. Usually first off the line never dips below whatever Hobby's pre-selling for, whether that's legitimate or someone at Panini just hits the sold out button, whether it actually sold out or not. That seems to be where things kind of end with that. But here we have Prism Retail just chilling on Target's website. So one, if you are looking for this stuff, don't pay over MSRP because you can just log on to Target and buy it. I have a feeling this stuff is going to be an absolutely brutal rip, most likely. Prism Retail typically is anymore. The blaster format is one of the weaker ones in regards to hits. I will all let you know firsthand because, like a dummy, I ordered 3 of them. That's the limit. So those should be here sometime first of the year. And we will obviously do a video where you can watch me live rip up $100 on camera and see what we get out of it. Most likely, probably a whole lot of nothing. So I have really bad luck with Prism Retail. I can't complain too much about rip results as I had a pretty good week this week. If you missed it, there's a live stream that I did Wednesday night where I opened 2 boxes of the Bowman University Sapphire and had a very good experience with that product. And then after that, I degen ripped a Series 1 2023 Hobby Jumbo box, and we hit a really nice rookie auto out of that. So if you missed that, you can circle back and watch that live stream. But Prism Retail is coming, and when's the last time you remember Prism sitting this long? Especially, this is a hyped class. You got CJ Stroud in there, AR-15, Will Levis, been playing pretty good. A lot of chases in that product. We will see what happens and how long it sits. That also could mean that they printed a billion of these things. But just a public service announcement, do not pay over retail for this stuff as long as it's available on Target's website. In all honesty, probably just avoid it completely. Here's another fun one going around in the scam/drama territory. Fake Wemby autos. This is the green out of 99. It seems to be specifically targeting this one. This was posted by Striving 410s over on Instagram. Essentially what they're doing here is someone made a fake copy of this card. It is a very bad fake, but they're putting it in a penny sleeve and top loader, and they're putting a sealed top sticker on the top of it. Now, I don't know if they peeled that sticker off a legit redemption, or, I mean, you could get stickers made. It's not that hard, folks. Did they get top stickers made up? I'm guessing the latter. And then they insert it into the penny sleeve, put it in a top loader, put the top sticker over it because this was a redemption, so it's not uncommon to see this in a sealed top sticker, and then sending it out. Because in the penny sleeve and a top loader, it looks okay-ish enough. The second they took this out of the card, out of the penny sleeve, you can immediately tell this thing was a really bad fake. But it could pass off, especially online in photos, that it may not be. So just buyer beware out there if you're in the hunt for raw Wemby autos. This is not a Topps or Fanatics issue per se. This is someone doing something shady and making fake versions of the card. So just be careful out there. Want to mention something quick on GemRate. GemRate has launched Universal Search. The full pop report is still work in progress, but if you go to gemrate.com and go to Universal Search, you can now search for cards in the database. Fun little tool over here. You can pretty much type in whatever you want. We will do a full video on this at some point in time after the first of the year. But if you were curious about like a Lucas Silver Prism, you could type that in, hit it, and then it will show you the Universal Pop Report for that card. I can tell you right now, I've been using this for a while now. It is very handy. Very, very handy. There's been some stuff that I've been looking at, specifically like vintage Magic. I was looking at some beta stuff for Magic the Gathering, and it was interesting to kind of dig into some individual cards and see what is out there on population reports for some of that stuff across the varying graders. There's going to be all sorts of fun things that we could do with this. I would recommend bookmarking this on your phone. This would be really handy at shows, especially if you are looking at not necessarily ultra modern things, or you're looking for something from the 90s or the mid 2000s that maybe there's a lot in a Beckett slab and someone's trying to promote it that it's low pop PSA and there's 5 times the amount in a Beckett slab. It's handy for stuff like that. I have found this tool very, very useful, and I'm very interested to kind of see where this goes as GemRate continues to build this out. But this is a little sneak peek of kind of some of the stuff that you could do on there. The other hot topic button, and we're going to kind of cross the streams just very quickly here. I am not going to get into the devil of the details on this one. I will point you back to the couple videos that I have done on this. Even if you are not a comic book person, I would recommend going to check those videos out. Like I said, I've done 2. Swaggle Haas has done a couple, and Ryan over at Automatic Comics has done a couple on this as well. The stuff going on is very, very scary when it comes to high-graded, expensive comic books. Like I said, I don't want to get into it super, super crazy, but basically there's some major shenanigans going on with one particular seller in CGC and them doing some very nefarious things and getting some very fraudulent books out into the market that people have spent a lot of money on. So like I said, I don't want to dive too deep in the comics for this because this is not the venue for it on this particular episode. But there's plenty of content out there, mine and others, that you could go dig a little deeper on. And like I said, even if you don't touch a comic book, own a comic book, I think this is something to be aware of because it does affect CGC as a whole, in my opinion. So go check that stuff out. Fun times to be had. Before we jump in the charts and graphs, one last thing that I just kind of wanted to touch on, and this is kind of leading in the charts and graphs. Talked about Bowman Draft at the top. The Tom Brady stuff continues to sell extremely well. The bases, just the base, are still going for just under $1,000 to around $1,000. There was a big one that sold Saturday morning. This was the red out of 5, went for $15,000. Funny thing about this one is they ended the auction Saturday morning Eastern time at like 8:30 a.m. I don't know why you would end an auction on a $15,000 card at that time, but to each their own. Still went for $15K, so it is what it is. A lot of other stuff on here still selling strong. $1,200 for an Aqua, $810 for a base. Crazy prices for break spots. The autos are going for insane amounts of money. So the Brady Chase hype is still legitimately real. The other thing that I saw, Topps related, and nothing on this yet, I saw some early previews of the Series 1 2024 checklist was up on Beckett. No images yet, so I didn't want to pull anything up. Nothing super crazy, but talks about some of the new parallels and stuff like that coming. So we should be getting more info on 2024 Series 1 probably any day now. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into some charts and graphs using Market Movers. Link in the description down below. If you want to try the tool out, feel free to test it out. Coupon code down there where you can save a little bit of money. Welcome back, Ja Morant. We're going to start off with basketball. Ja came back this week and absolutely lit things up. He came out guns blazing. Game winner in his first game back, and his card prices have responded already. This is a silver PSA 10 Prism, up 30% over the last 30 days. And you can see right here where it just went up, almost 4 days in a row this week as he is back on the court and looks like he hasn't missed a beat. He's looked absolutely fantastic. He does look a little gassed in sometimes, but that's to be expected coming back after a long layoff like that. Grizzlies rough place standing wise. We will see if he can get things turned around there. But Ja's back, and regardless of what you think about Ja's off the court nonsense, he's fun to watch play basketball. At a bare minimum, the guy is fun to watch play basketball. That was a really fun game to watch and to see him hit that game winner. Cool boy. Here is a throwback, ladies and gentlemen. Talk about peak pandemic names. This is one of them. You know, the legendary Bull, KPJ, MPJ, and then the man, the myth, the legend, Kobe White. Zach LaVine got hurt, and Kobe White grabbed the reins, and he has been playing out of his mind the last few weeks. And his card prices have reflected it. PSA 10 Silver Prism just a few weeks ago was a $20 card. It is now a $100 card. So a nice 388% increase. If you were a Kobe White believer and you were buying the dip this entire time, boy, oh boy, have you done quite well for yourself. Really, really huge price increases across the board. I looked at a bunch of his cards. Everything is up a bunch over the last 2 weeks or so. He's been on an absolute heater. And I don't know that I necessarily see it, the playing time anyway, slowing down. LaVine is out for a while still. And then he is most likely probably, I would be surprised if he played another game for the Bulls. They're actively trying to trade him. So even if he gets healthy, there's a good chance he could be traded before that. And Kobe White's going to continue to get run. And they're probably going to look to sell off other pieces. I wouldn't be surprised if DeRozan gets traded, maybe even Vucevic. If DeRozan goes and LaVine's gone and potentially Alex Caruso, that's a lot of minutes going to Kobe White. And maybe he even gets traded. I don't know. But my guess is they would go more with the youth movement and kind of have him lead that charge. So he's been playing great. He showed some flashes back in his rookie year. People got really hyped on him. And then obviously, you know, things corrected because he hasn't really done much the last year or so. But he is on one right now, and the card prices are moving to reflect it. This one I was just genuinely curious about because I was looking at the fake Victor autos, and I was just kind of curious how his main PSA 10 first Bowman auto's been doing because the Spurs suck. I don't really know what Popovich is doing with that team running Jeremy Sohan at point guard all the time. This is, you know, NBA podcasts talk about this daily. That team needs a point guard. Obviously, I don't think they really want to win. So the team is a disaster. Wemby's playing really good. He does look really, really good in the games that I've watched and the highlights that I've seen. His PSA 10 first Bowman auto has maintained. That we don't usually see stuff like this very often where prices maintain, and this has actually gone up since its original. This right now is, I went all the way back to the beginning from when this card first hit the market. Overall, up 43%, 3.7K. There has been some sales higher in the beginning of the season, then it did dip off a little bit, but it is trending back up. So if you bought peak hype at the beginning of the NBA season, you're probably down a little bit. But if you bought in the off season or the lead up to the season, you're still doing pretty okay. Now, I don't know if that'll hold or not. We'll see. But this is a supply issue. There is not a lot of Wemby autos on the market because Topps controls it, not Panini. And the first is probably going to be the one that holds the value for now. We'll see what happens when he gets real autographs. I shouldn't say real autographs, but autographs with him in a Spurs jersey, whenever it is that we may see that, and it might be years, we don't really know. But for the time being, money's probably going to filter to that first Bowman auto for his, you know, main autograph rookie, air quote rookie, pre-rookie, whatever you want to call it, card that people are going to be going after for him. I honestly don't think he wins Rookie of the Year. I think it's going to be Chet. Chet is playing just as good as he is, but his team is really good, and I think the voters will reward that. Close your eyes. We're going to flip over to football really quick. And shout out to Simon466 Cards. Took an idea that I had been talking about for a while, and he made a video on it. It was, I wonder how much money people have lost in modern quarterbacks. So go check out his channel and his video if you want to see that. I won't spoil it, but he did a fun little breakdown on that. Just a quick little look here. This is over the last 180 days. Burrow, Herbert, Lawrence. So this goes back into the summer, a little pre-national. Silver Prism PSA 10s down basically 50% across the board. 45, 42, 47. Essentially, we'll just call it a 45% drop across the board on Silver Prisms. My question for you is, of these three, which one are you most intrigued by a dip in regards to maybe sliding in and picking up some cards? Now, Lawrence is still actively playing. He just came out of concussion protocol. It looks like he's going to play this week. Herbert and Burrow are obviously done for the season. So Lawrence could potentially rebound in season. And do keep in mind, the reason why his sells for more than the other two is it's a population report thing. His PSA 10 is a very tricky grade. There's only 80 some of them on the pop report. So do bear that in mind. That's why that one is priced a little bit higher. There is a supply issue there. For me, it is probably Burrow just because I think he has the most upside. I think this season was just cursed for him. He would be someone that I would potentially look to pick up over the early winter months here in a nice lead up to next year's National, especially keep in mind the National is in Cleveland, Ohio. So there could be a big Burrow buzz come the National, but we will see. On the opposite ends of the spectrum, Brock Purdy has gone absolutely crazy town. Probably going to be the NFL MVP at this point. He is the leader in the clubhouse. He has played absolutely fantastic. Same time frame, last 180 days. So if you bought back in the summer, here's a couple of his key cards. Mosaic sticker auto up 175% in a PSA 10. Brock Purdy silver rookie auto up 140% in a PSA 10. And just his straight Prism silver up 115% in a PSA 10. So Purdy continues to go to the moon. Once again, he didn't have big expectations on him. People were wondering all offseason, is he even going to be the starting quarterback? Remember that. That seems like it was forever ago, but remember in the offseason, people were actually thinking Sam Darnold might be the quarterback of that team. Kept Purdy's prices depressed. Little to no expectations on him. These guys, massive expectations on them. Even if they would have played well, these prices would have come down. Look at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts stuff's way down, and he was having a fantastic year. He slowed down a little bit the last week or two, but he's had a great year for the most part. One last look at the QBs. Just was kind of curious. Pulled up the QB index. This is something that Market Movers built custom. Rookie quarterback index. This takes all the rookie quarterbacks from the individual year. It takes their optic hollow and their select field level PSA 10s and groups them all together to give us an idea of what the overall market looks like for each class. And spoilers, it's a disaster. I ran this from August 1st through today. I pulled up for the classes 2017, 2018, 2020, and 2021. They are all down a ton. 2021 rookie class down 60%. 2020 class down 40%. 2018 only down 20%. That's mostly Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson at this point. Baker Mayfield's in there too, and Baker's actually had a really nice season. I would kill for Baker Mayfield on the Browns instead of Deshaun Watson. That's a different story for another day. And then the 2017, which is mostly Mahomes and Watson, down 27%. Even Mahomes stuff has been creeping down lately, as once again, the Chiefs, there's some chinks in the armor there. A little bit of chinks. The Chiefs are almost kind of becoming the villains a little bit. They had that kind of whiny thing with the officials the other day. They're getting all the Taylor Swift nonsense. The Chiefs may be turning into a public enemy. Let's close things out here with a little bit of baseball. I was just kind of curious. We kind of talked about this last week. Juan Soto continues to kind of re-stabilize back to his pre-Yankees prices. So that was a very quick bump up. This is his first Bowman auto. You can see in the offseason, traded to the Yankees, to the moon. Okay, whatever, and then right back down again. Now, it hasn't gone all the way back, but it's pretty close. Mid-October, a PSA 10 was doing 1.7K. The last sale on a PSA 10 is about 2K. Someone got FOMO and hit one for 2.9K right when the trade happened. But we'll see where things trend line from here. My guess is it's going to stay above that 1.7 as we move into the winter and into the early parts of the spring. But already you could see how quickly people move on. You have a very limited window to maximize this stuff. Last but not least, just a quick check-in on some first Bowmans for some prominent players. I ran this back 90 days. So this takes us to right before the MLB playoffs, right at the very end of the baseball season. J-Rod, first Bowman, down about 6%. Acuna down about 45%. Mookie Betts down about 30%. Tatis down about 10%. And Seager down about 18%. So if you go back that far, you could see as the end of the season ended and the playoffs kind of wrapped up, a lot of these guys came down quite a bit. If you shorten this up, though, you see a lot less price movement. Here, J-Rod's only down about 20% as most of his drop has happened. Acuna only down about 15%. A lot of his drop happened right as the season ended. They got eliminated from the playoffs. Mookie Betts is flat. Dodgers are obviously getting a lot of buzz. Tatis is basically flat. Corey Seager's basically flat. So we are definitely in that like meh time for baseball. We will see after Christmas if things pick up. As we've talked about for numerous years on the channel, typically Thanksgiving to Christmas is a good time to prospect in baseball. Make your plays on guys that you think will break out, because once we get through the beginning of the new year, people will have their eyes and ears ready for the trucks to head to spring training and see that warm weather and green grass again. And people will start picking up in baseball typically. Maybe this year's different, but that's typically where things head. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here on that note. That is all I have for you, boys and girls, today. Once again, if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Peace.